Check.
Good afternoon, Dr. Nur Hazlina.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention? We are about to begin our second session today. So please find a perfect seat, turn on your camera, and make yourself comfortable. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, best wishes for all of us. Om Swastiastu and Namo Buddhaya. Good afternoon, honorable speaker, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in the Overseas Study Program of Defense Management Faculty, Republic Indonesia Defense University 2021. The Honorable, the Dean of Defense Management Faculty, Republic Indonesia Defense University, Rear Admiral Dr. Kasih Prihantoro, Dean of Defense Studies and Management Faculty, National Defense University of Malaysia, Lieutenant Colonel Professor Madya Arifin bin Ismail, Vice Dean of Defense Management Faculty, Republic
This meeting
Indonesia
is being
Defense
recorded.
University, Air Force Marshal Anton Iman Santosa, Speaker and Moderator from National Defense University of Malaysia and Republic Indonesia Defense University, lecturers and staff of Defense Management Faculty of Republic Indonesia Defense University, and all of the students of Defense Management Faculty, Republic of Indonesia Defense University, also students of Defense Studies and Management Faculty, National Defense University of Malaysia. First of all, let us praise to the Almighty for His blessings that we are able to conduct the Overseas Study Program of Defense Management Faculty 2021 with SAM Management of National Resources for Defense and Security. We would like to say thank you for all of the participants who attend this second session today. Let us proceed to our main agenda. Our next agenda, the second presentation session from Dr. Nur Hazlina Fairuz Musakuti. And for our second session will be guided by the moderator, Mr. Nugroho Adi Sasongko, Bachelor of Engineering, Master of Sciences, PhD, who is also a lecturer in Republic Indonesia Defense University. Our second session today will be about artificial resource management for defense in practical. Before we proceed further, we would like to read the curriculum vitae of today's moderator. Nugroho Adisasongko. He is a lecturer in Defense Management Faculty, Republic Indonesia Defense University. He is an expert in energy system, life cycle assessment, system dynamic, also in defense technology. He got PhD degree in intelligence system for bioproduction, machinery, and energy engineering or process engineering from University of Tsukuba Murdoch University. He got Master of Science degree in Mechanical Structural Engineering and Material Sciences, Risk Management in University Stavanger. He is also a Bachelor of Engineering in Physics Engineering from Institut Teknologi Bandung. He has several experiences as visiting researcher and lecturer, such as in Malaysia, Japan International Institute of Technology, UTM, Telemark University College, University of Southeastern Norway, Aalborg Universiteit at Denmark, Technische Universiteit München, Germany, University Center in Svalbard, Brawijaya University, and Bakri University. He also active in a few organizations such as Technical Board Committee at Indonesia Engineers Association, Board Member of Expert Council at Ikatan Alumni Habibi, Chairman of Presidium at Ikatan Alumni Resepro World Bank Brain. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Nur Hazlina Fairuz Musekuti and Mr. Nugroho Adisasongko. And for moderator, the floor is yours.
Sorry. Thank you, Ms. Riva Mutiara Bako, our MC. Now let me start to moderate this afternoon session. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, best wishes for all of us. Salam, Namo Buddhaya, Om Swastiastu. The Honorable Rector of the Republic of Indonesia Defense University, Vice Admiral Professor Dr. Amarullah Octavian, NAP Chancellor of National Defense University of Malaysia, Lieutenant General Dato Hasagaya bin Abdullah, Dean of Faculty of Defense Studies and Management of National Defense University of Malaysia, Lieutenant Colonel Professor Madya Arifin bin Ismail, Vice Dean of Defense Management Faculty of the Republic of Indonesia Defense University, Air Force Marshal Anton Imam Santosa, all secretaries of study programs and lecturers of Defense Management Faculty of the Republic of Indonesia Defense University, all lecturers and students of National Defense University of Malaysia, all students of Defense Management Faculty of the Republic of Indonesia Defense University, and all students of Faculty of Defense Studies and Management, National Defense University of Malaysia, whom we are proud of, our distinguished participants. First of all, let us praise the Almighty God for His grace, blessing, giving health. Today, we are able to conduct and participate virtually in the Republic of Indonesia Defense University Overseas Study Program of Defense Management Faculty with the theme of Management of National Resources for Defense and Security. Our culture in this, normally in our culture in our university, we start with a pantun. Since we are in one room pun, Dr. Nur Haslina, I prepare one pantun for you and for all participants from UPNM. Jalan-jalan ke Kuantan Pahang, rehat siang di Kopitiam. Dr. Nur Haslina selamat datang. Dengan hormat kami hantarkan salam. Shortly, let's start today afternoon seminar. I forgot to introduce you with your CV. I will start again to introduce your CV. You were the speaker in the previous day, right? So, Dr. Nur Haslina, was born in Rau Pahang. Her early education also in Pahang. She has education background from social science, majoring in international relation majors and human resources development from University Malaysia Sarawak, UNIMAS, and she conducted her master on social sciences, analysis of strategic and security studies from UKM, National University of Malaysia, Universitas Kebangsaan Malaysia, and then she continued her PhD and obtained her PhD from UNSW from Sydney, Australia, and her major research in Malaysia is disaster reconstruction, I'm not mistaken. And she conduct a lot of research on post-disaster reconstruction of tsunami Aceh and the role of NGO in participation and capacity building in development phase. Actually, I also was born in Aceh actually, and I was grow up in Aceh. So let's have her sharing and presentation for this afternoon seminar. Please welcome Dr. Nur Haslina Fairuz Musakuti. Your presentation approximately 1 hour. Time is yours. Thank you. You have okay.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Very good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Dr. Nur Haslina. Selamat siang.
Jumpa lagi, alhamdulillah diberi peluang untuk berjumpa lagi. Okay, I think the moderator has introduced me in a very lengthy introduction. Okay, yes, my research was in Aceh. I stayed in Aceh for 6 months to collect my data for my PhD. So yeah, maybe Dr. Adi and me can actually exchange some information later. Okay, all right. So coming back to my presentation today. Okay, basically, I think this morning, my friend T.S. Suresh has actually explained to you on the concept side. One is artificial resources management, and actually his lecture was round up everywhere because it was a conceptual. He was supposed to cover all the areas of artificial resources management. So mine today will be focusing on more of the how in Malaysia we use knowledge-based administration and economy in Malaysia. So basically the combination, how do we actually embark on multimedia super corridor, and then eventually looking at e-governance of e-administration of the HRM, and also later how do we actually develop knowledge-based economy. Okay. All right. So I shall continue with my second slide. Okay. So again, in the previous session this morning, AI was introduced very thoroughly by my friend. So I'll touch a little bit on that just to recap. Okay. So when we talk about artificial resources, it's very much related to artificial intelligence. Basically, we are talking about using the technology to manage the resources. That's the simplified word of how we actually understand artificial resources. So we need to develop some paradigms of altruism, okay, to cause our machine to actually perform tasks and otherwise require recognition or perception from a human. So basically, we are talking about how do we utilize AI to actually help us to make decisions, help us how to manage resources, okay? Not to use artificial intelligence to make decisions for us, no. The human intelligence is very, very important, okay? So, and with this kind of going back to natural resources, right? It's actually in the state of depleting, and then and we have a lot of we are coming up with a lot of green infrastructure, and we are coming up with a new way of actually managing our resources. So I feel that AI is very important. Actually, yeah, AI is everywhere, even in handphones. Okay, detect your faces. Okay, and all that. Okay, all right. So what is AI exactly? I'll just introduce a little bit here. Can we just speak? Okay, all right. So according to Patterson, AI is a branch of computer science that deals with study and creation of computer systems that exhibit some form of intelligence. So basically, I think if you want to understand what is AI, everything that will start with I, and then what? I knowledge, I economy. Yes, it's all intelligent. Okay, so basically by intelligent we mean a system that learn new concept and task. Okay, and system that can reason and draw useful conclusion about the world around us. Okay, and system that can understand a natural language or perceive or comprehend a visual thing. And finally, a system that can actually perform other types of feature that require human types of intelligence. So basically here, doesn't matter what kind of technology you have, the human intelligence is very important. Nothing can actually beat the human intelligence. Okay, all right. So a little bit on AI then. Okay, so any artificially intelligent system must possess three essential components. The first one, it must represent or representation of wise kind of knowledge. Okay, so be able to capture wise, diverse kind of knowledge. So knowledge can be generic and domain specific, explicit, and at different level of abstraction. And the representation of mechanism that we option must be able to handle this knowledge in any form. So basically, the system must be able to handle all kind of knowledge. Okay, so when you talk about knowledge, also, I believe knowledge is power. Okay, I come from IR school. Okay, I come from international relations school. My master's is in strategic and security studies. So yes, knowledge is power. Okay, all right. The pen can be stronger than a sword. Okay, that's what Bonaparte said. Okay, the French walnut. Okay, a framework. Second, a framework for reasoning. We need to have some control mechanism to consider the search of knowledge based on the means of arriving at conclusion. Okay, and finally, a mechanism for learning. Okay, so AI system must have method of learning. New data strong in it the existing structure internally with minimal or no disturbance to them. So basically, when you create a system, the AI system, a system that actually to manage resources or anything else, you have to make sure there is no disturbance to them. Okay, all right. So, what is artificial resources and how it affects the knowledge-based human resources management in Malaysia? So basically, Malaysia, okay, is a country with the emerging economy. So we actually embarked on becoming an industrial country since 1916. So in the new millennium, Malaysia has moved to productivity-driven growth based to knowledge-based and technology-driven. So this was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister, Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, okay, the fourth and the seventh Prime Minister. Okay, he came up in when he was the fourth premiership. He came up with this Vision 2020, which was last year. Okay, as a milestone for Malaysia to become a developed country in the year 2020. Okay, so knowledge-based resources is defined as valuable resources that are protected from limitation by knowledge barrier. Okay, and it relates to knowledge, skill, abilities. These three things that are creative and collaborative. Okay, so I'll explain to you later how do we differentiate knowledge-based worker and skill-based worker. Why is it important to have this artificial AI element into it? Okay, all right. These resources are immutable because they involve unique talent, knowledge that are hardly to be imitated by computers because they are subtle and hard to understand. So you have to understand there are 7 billion human beings in this world, and all of us are given are gifted with each different brain. That shows that each of us are very unique. In nature, you are very special in your own way. Okay, nobody are the same. Okay, so how do we deal with all these human resources in Malaysia? Malaysia have about 34 million population. So how do we deal with this? Okay, so all this I taken into consideration when we started this. So knowledge management. Okay, so when we talk about knowledge-based human resource management, you have to know what is knowledge management. So in recent years, okay, knowledge management has been recognized as a key instrument, okay, for improvement of organizational effectiveness and performance. This has been utilized in most organizations in 21st century. Okay, the term knowledge and creating organization has led to the discussion how to manage employees' knowledge here so that it can be source of sustainable competitive advantage. How are you going to actually manage them? How are you actually going to make sure it's a sustainable competitive advantage? Okay, how do you actually capture each skill, each knowledge, each SKI? Skill, knowledge, and idea. Yes, SKI. Okay, all right. So fundamentally, okay, sorry, likewise, the study also suggested that there is a positive effect of knowledge and learning system on innovation process and outcome. Okay, fundamentally, knowledge management consists of creation of and application of knowledge as most strategically important resources as an organization resources. So basically, when you look at organization, for me, I always tell my student, when you look at each organization, they will have this strategic office. Okay, this strategic office is the mastermind of everything. They actually manage the whole organization. So go back to the vision, go back to the mission. All this come from the strategic corporate office. Okay, so all organizations in the world has this. Okay, so the creation and application of this knowledge is very important for every organization in the world. So, however, okay, static knowledge management practice are not sufficient to achieve better financial or innovation performance on a continuous basis. So, static knowledge management, okay, practice tend to lead a better performance for only limited period. So, if you are relying on you are not moving further, you are static, you are in the same category to actually access knowledge, then you will not actually have better performance. So this is the reason why we actually combining artificial intelligence into knowledge management. Okay, so therefore there is also important that implemented knowledge management strategy is immutable in order to sustain a long run competitive advantage. So hence, besides being strategic, the organization must also need a knowledge management dynamic capability in order to adapt and renew this knowledge management practice for conclusion so that the superior performance can be sustained. So basically, this is what we mean by knowledge management. Okay. All right. So it's a unique field. Okay. I must say it overlaps with a lot of other areas, especially human resource, HRM, performance management, accounting, philosophy, and information technology. It's all in one package. Okay, so it's defined as organized process of creating, capturing, storing, disseminating, and using knowledge within organization to maintain competitive advantage. Okay, and another appropriate definition of knowledge management is that the conscious strategy of getting right knowledge to the right people at the right time, helping people share and put information into action in ways that strive to improve organizational performance. Okay, so basically, it's about managing, disseminating the right information at the right time to the right people. Okay, so knowledge economy, okay, or we call it KE, is the use of knowledge to generate tangible and intangible values. So technology in particular, knowledge technology, I help to transform a part of human knowledge to machines. Okay, so here we are actually transforming, okay, a particular knowledge using AI to a machine, but the human knowledge is still important here. So this knowledge can be used by decision support system in various fields and generate economic values. And knowledge economy is also possible without technology. Yes, that's true. Okay, but it will not be with the help of AI. We will actually be more advanced, more competitive, more sustainable. Okay. All right. The definition of knowledge economy, just now knowledge management, right? Okay, so the key concept of knowledge economy is the knowledge and education, often referred as human capital. Okay, can be treated as one of the following areas: a business product or educational, innovative, intellectual product. Service can be exported for a high value return. And also, okay, production and service-based knowledge, intensive activities that contribute to accelerated pace of technical, scientific advance, as well as rapid obsolescence. A key components of knowledge economy is the greater reliance on intellectual capabilities than on physical input and natural sources. Okay. So, manual versus knowledge. Okay. So this comes the part where what will happen if you are a manual worker, and what is the difference to knowledge worker? Okay, so according to Peter Drucker, he says that manual worker works with hand and produce goods and services. Okay, but on the other hand, knowledge worker work with their head, not hands, and produces idea, knowledge, and information. So if you are in educational institution, yes, this is what you do. If you are especially coming from engineering department, okay, yes, you will eventually create the prototype, the product you produce that. But all that comes from your ideas and combination of knowledge. Okay, so problem in formalization and modeling of knowledge economy is a weak definition of knowledge, which is rather relative concept. So when you talk about knowledge, knowledge can be defined, it's very relative, it's very subjective. Okay, when you see a person is knowledgeable, it's very, it creates skepticism, because you cannot simply say a person is knowledgeable without actually continuing saying knowledgeable in what, because it's very relative. Okay, so everything can be knowledge. Okay, even though a professor can actually learn something new every day. So yeah, knowledge is no boundaries. Okay, so it is not proper to consider information society as interchangeable, for example, with knowledge society. So information is usually not equivalent to knowledge. So it doesn't mean when you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of information, you are knowledgeable. It's more important how you use that knowledge to do something, to create something, to come up with certain solution, to come up with certain model, certain theory. Yes, that means you are knowledgeable. But just storing information doesn't make you knowledgeable. Their use depends on individual groups and preferences, which are economic dependent. So basically, when you talk about KE, knowledge economy, okay, so how to actually utilize the information, and also to, basically it's like a talent search. Okay, you're searching for the best talented, knowledgeable person. Okay, if you are looking for something to store information, then you just need a machine. You don't need AI. You can just store anywhere, right? You can just use a database anywhere to just store the information. But how to utilize those information to become knowledgeable? That is a big question that you ask. Okay, so human mind or human knowledge is very important, and they are very unique in a sense. So okay, let's continue a little bit on KE still. Okay, so KE is also seen as the latest stage of development in global economic restructuring. So basically, as I said, in 21st century, a lot of countries, a lot of organizations actually rely on this. So for example, developed countries, developed world, transition from agriculture economy to industrial production economy to knowledge economy. So there is a 3-stage here. First, agriculture, and then industrial, and last is knowledge economy, KE. All right. So latest stage marked by the upheaval of technological innovation and global competitive need for innovation with new product processes that develop from research community. So this is the reason why the government is actually pumping a lot of money into the research and development, is to create this knowledge economy. Okay, I will actually give you a good example from Malaysia. In Malaysia, we have what we call as the website as Migrant. Okay, under Migrant, okay, we actually consult all the experts in the country. Whoever have Malaysian identity card can actually register. Okay, it can be a researcher, it can be anything inside that. Okay, so this is under Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, which is MOHE, Ministry of Higher Education. So over time we have so many kind of grants. Okay, we have prototype grants, we have discipline research grant, we have fundamental research grant, we have prototype research grant, all kind of grant, mostly and everything. So other ministry that interested actually like Ministry of Science and Technology also will actually pump in some budget under this migrant, under the control of KPT, Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi MOHE. So what will happen is that for us to actually get this grant, it's not that easy. Okay, I recently was granted with 750,000 Malaysian ringgit grant to actually create a civil military coordination policy framework. Okay, to actually see how can actually consult the resources from civilian agencies and also the military. How do we actually create that framework to work? Okay, so like earlier, someone was asking in the earlier session with Mr. Suresh, how do we work at MKN and so on, right? So MKN only have SOP, it's a directive. It's not like in Indonesia you have like a disaster law, for example. In Malaysia we do not have that. In like pandemic COVID-19, we have to rely on MKN, Majlis Keselamatan Negara, to actually come up with this SOP. Okay, so what I was granted this grant because I can actually give them this policy paper. I can actually give them this framework to actually solve the problem. For example, it's a transdisciplinary grant. Okay, under this grant, we have policy, which is underlined, and then we have health, which is very relevant because we have COVID-19 pandemic now. Okay, and then we have logistics to look at civil and military component, and also finally we have this built environment. Built environment to look at the risk hazard map. So it's a combination of 4 disciplines. So basically, what I'm trying to show you is that we have this kind of consortium, I call it. Migrant is a consortium to actually look at how much you can actually create, how much solution can you generate from investing in this educational agency, educational institution. Okay, so you can be from industry, you can be from university, government, public, or even private, doesn't matter. All you can actually work under my grant. Okay, so we can also actually invite partners from outside. This is the beauty. Okay, so this is an example from Malaysia. So this is what we do. Okay, we utilize our education institution to actually come up with. It's not only for UPNM, but we have about 21 or 22 public university and numbers of private university. So we are actually having a collaboration with all industry, private and public universities. Okay, all right. So if you look at research community, that is the R&D factors here. Okay, and universities, labs. Okay, labs are usually the external partners and educational institution. Okay, so in KE, knowledge economy, the specialized labor force is characterized as computer literate and well-trained in handling data, developing algorithm, and also simulated models and innovating process and system. By the way, in Malaysia, if you are actually applying for any grant under my grant scheme, your research must have impact on community, on policymaker, especially on community. You must give something they must see that you're actually solving some problem. Yes. Then you be granted with that kind of amount. Right? Okay. So basically, we are actually we have this migrant system, which actually I see it as one of the example how we manage knowledge in Malaysia. So to actually look at how to actually utilize knowledge and also generate economy at the same time. Okay. So knowledge economy in Malaysia. So Malaysia's transformation into industry and production-based economy started in 1960s. Okay, so in the 1960s, after the independent 1957, and then 1963 becoming Malaysia. Okay, with the confrontation and everything. Okay, we started dasar ekonomi baru, whereby we look at because Malaysia are actually the British actually granted independence to Malaysia with the condition the front the national front Barisan Nasional has to be formed with the three main components: Malay, Chinese, and Indian. So this is why in Malaysia we have UMNO. Used to be we have UMNO, we have MIC and MCA that represent three races. So with that, it's always about racial segregation, racial issues in Malaysia. All the politics, everything is run based on these three components. Okay, so we come up with DAB, Dasar Ekonomi Baru, or Dasar New Economic Policy under the Tuan Mahathir's premiership, fourth premiership. Okay, so under this we are trying to actually this is the main transformation. Okay, from agriculture to industrial, whereby the main aim of NEP was to actually to distribute equal distribution of wealth to all the three races. Okay, so we start with this policy. Okay, we start with this policy, and later after the end of NEP, we continue with Dasar Pembangunan Negara DPN. Okay, so it continues Dasar Ekonomi, Dasar Pandang ke Timur, okay, to the Japan. Okay, we adapt the privatization and a lot of working ethic from Japan. Okay, so this is how actually our knowledge economy developed over time. So coming back to this issue, how we actually started. Okay, so basically we changed in physical infrastructure. Okay, to move goods and services, financial, fiscal intensive, to attract foreign investment. Okay, and also education. Okay. In Malaysia, I'm proud to say actually, okay, when I was studying in Australia, yeah, I think I'm a moderator, so studied Murdoch. I was in Sydney itself for 5 years. So the only country that actually sponsored students to study overseas, okay, sponsored the government sponsoring it, is Malaysia and Arab Saudi. These are the two countries. The rest of the students in my lab, we have about 50 PhD master students in my lab, were sponsored by the New South Wales own scholarships. So basically, we invest like this. Okay, we call it scheme latihan, SLEB. Scheme latihan akademik Bumi Putra, ada dua, satu untuk Bumi Putra, which is for the Malay, okay, and also a scheme latihan akademik SLAI itu for other than Malays. Okay, so we are equal. Okay, Malay pun ada, non-Malay pun ada. But as the supreme owner of this land, Malay has the more rights. They were given their rights. Okay, so this is the government investment. This is the government investment. So the government had this program. This program, if I remember it well, about 20 years. Okay, it was supposed to end in 2015 or 2014. Okay, so the aim of this because government spent actually about 500,000 Malaysian ringgit for PhD, 3 years PhD overseas on average. This is on average. Okay, so can you imagine most of the lecturers, especially PhD lecturers? Okay, first in the beginning we did have masters also overseas. Okay. But then later in the after 2010 they start reducing. So because it's like a cycle. we have masters people, people doing masters overseas coming back, contributing to the university. So the university's KPI is increasing. So the aim of this program was to create 70% PhD holders, okay, in all the public universities. So once they have achieved the 70%, in 2014, we start to slow down. But today, even today, I think there are still chances to actually go overseas if you are actually serving in public university in Malaysia. Okay, but gradually they actually slowing it down because they have reached that 70% of actually creating these PhD holders in public university. Okay, so yes, that's one example I can give it to you because I was one of the program. Apart from Slap Slide, we also have My Brain. My Brain program was introduced by the government. It ended 2 years ago, I think. Okay, so in my Brain program is that you can actually do PhD masters inside Malaysia, fully subsidized by the government, fully scholarship, and provided you are not working, you are full-time student. Yes. Okay. So this is very interesting investment by the Malaysian government. Okay, even until today, Malaysia is the only country that actually spend a lot of money sending their lecturers and also human capital. We call it the human capital to actually obtain this and come back and to actually create this knowledge economy in Malaysia. Okay. All right. So, what is key-based knowledge for Malaysia? Okay, as I explained earlier, okay, knowledge, creativity, innovation. So, when we actually create something, is innovation play a lot of part. Okay, we have innovation, a lot of innovation competition every year. Almost, I can see almost every month, and it's always a combination of this industry, ministries, respected ministry, and also academic institution. Okay. So they are actually playing a very important role in increasing and important role in generating and sustaining growth. So in Begin Innovation 2020, an economy driven by brain power, skill, diligence, in possession of a wealth of information with knowledge of what to do and how to do. So this is basically knowledge economy for Malaysia. So it was stated in Vision 2020. Yeah? So this is the strategic thrust of Vision 2020. Okay, cultivate, secure, and necessary human resources, establish institutions necessary to champion, mobilize, transition to key-based economy, to ensure incentive infrastructure, infrastructure necessary to prosper optimal, ever-increasing application of knowledge to all sectors of economy and flourish of knowledge in all sectors of knowledge-intensive industries. So it's basically a marriage of public, private, government, ministry, everybody play important role when it comes to knowledge-based economy. Okay, and the fourth thrust is dramatically increased capacity for acquisition of science and technology. Okay, I must say in Malaysia still, if you wanted to get a fundamental research grant, your research must be fundamental. So science people know what is fundamental, but for social science, to be fundamental is a very hard job. Okay, all right. And then the fifth thrust ensure that the private sector is a vanguard of key-based civil service. Okay, here the civil service comes in. Okay, and to develop public sector, knowledge-based civil service, and bridge the knowledge and digital divide. So I would say these three, okay, is achieved. Whatever example I gave earlier, okay, referring to the migrant, referring to the university flatline, My Brain programs, yes. Okay, so usually we were given not only at the military institution, but also in all sector. Okay, all public sector was given equal chance to actually upgrade yourself. Okay, correct. So yes, this is the if you wanted to visit. I would say the evidence, the evidence of a certain Malaysia multi-billion super corridor. You must go to Cyberjaya. and you must go to Technology Park in Bukit Jalil. Yes, these are the two places, because I was working in the Technology Park, Bukit Jalil. Because I was with the bank before, I was a lecturer, Standard Chartered Bank. Okay, all right. So yes, so Malaysia government guaranteed internet-free regulatory interference in the inception of MSC in 1997. Okay, so business hub and e-government pilots were expected to flourish. Okay, under a light touch regulatory framework. So here, Malaysian communication business print broadcast was subject to tight government control. Okay, over ownership, operating license, and content. So actually, this thing started even during DEB, Dasar Ekonomi Baru, which ended in the 80s. Okay, so in Dasar Ekonomi Baru, actually, the government actually stated that they will actually, okay, you wanted to set up a company. Okay, there is division 60-40. Okay, 60% of the stakeholder must be the Bumi Putra, and 40% will be the external. External, it can be non-Bumi, also it can be foreigner. Okay, and also we created this class A contractor, which is the main account, the director of the company must be the Bumi Putra. So we created this kind of empowerment of these Malays or the Bumi Putra during the NEP. So it's actually a continuation. But Malaysia, when it comes to communication, during Tun Mahathir, yes, was very strict. But I must say, after Tun Mahathir left, it was quite open under the Abdullah Badawi and also Najib Tun Razak. Okay, and now we are actually quite strict, quite open. Okay, all right. So Malaysia has established information economy. Okay, agenda about places, issues, and achieving the aims, because maybe we have this control. Okay. And then the internet penetration, uptake rates, cost, pattern of partnership with private sector, literacy, and digital literacy. So this was the dilemma of the issue. Right? Okay, the implementation of the e-government agenda by Malaysia ruling regime. So then was BN in 1997. Okay, the government was a core application of MSC Malaysian project. Okay, high technology projects such as telemedicine, smart school, a multi-purpose smart card system, my card, passport. Now he's having more advanced. Okay, all right. This is the beginning in 1997. Research and development cluster run as university think tank, e-business, entrepreneur development, and by government. So we have started this long time ago, and this is when all this empowerment of public university and so on started as well. Okay, under the e-government batch, many well-resourced project has been implemented. Okay, with the allocation of 5.2 billion under the Malaysian plan. Okay, way back 2000 to 2005 with high priority status from the government. So the administrative structure was complex under the MSC flagship application of combined government agency consists more than 219 federal department, 346 department, and 142 local authorities involved. So when you're talking about the empowerment of the public civil servant, yes, are the numbers. Okay, this complex organization work within the e-government framework between business sector, citizen to transform administration process and services delivery through extensive utilization of IPC and multimedia. So this is what we create. This is the reason why MSC was launched in Malaysia. So usually, okay, Mampu, you can actually go back and look at Mampu. Mampu actually report and also monitor, okay, the development of MSC. Okay, so ICT development was focused more on information economy, but business, but now it's expanding to e-service, as you know, e-procurement, generic office environment, project monitoring system, and human resource management. So the expansion to electronic labor exchanges and e-Sharia, Islamic justice portal, okay, in e-court and e-land. All right, so this is, when you talk about the justice portal, usually mahkamah ataupun court will take a long time to actually solve your problem, right? Okay, in Malaysia, I just found this last year because I have a friend that actually got divorced, and she was telling me, do you know that we can actually get divorced in 24 hours? I was like, what? Okay, so the system has really helped. You just need to register online, and then the decision can be made within 24 hours. You don't have to wait weeks, months, and so on. So it has gone that far. Okay, in Malaysia, I'm not talking at federal level, I'm talking at district municipal level as well. Okay, so Mampu recorded, because Malaysia used to have a lot of numbers of this unsolved Sharia or also any court land issues. Was bad luck or most of the time. So Mampu recorded Malaysian government has expanded its ICT infrastructure initiative to enhance government multiple delivery channel based on ICT and human capital development. So the growth of knowledge-based government development is crucial in context of enhancing HRM. So basically, when you talk about knowledge-based economy, it's actually about how to actually manage your HRM, human resource management, in the best way. How to actually utilize their capital, how to make sure they become, for me, it's about capacity building. Okay, how do you actually build capacity? Okay, so first of all, it involves a lot of budget and also infrastructure building, and also at the same time to retain this electronic government or all this e-court, e-land. It takes a lot of budget, and also it takes time for you to actually train these people to be able to manage this electronic kind of management. Okay, so I'm almost at my conclusion, I think. Okay, so the policies and legislation related to e-government in Malaysia. So we started in 1997. Okay, we have Digital Signature Act, we have Computer Crime Act 1997, we have Communication and Multimedia Act 1999, and in between here, 1997, we developed a lot of things in 1997 because that's where the MSc started. Okay, and I forgot to add another one. We have this was very recent last year. Since we had this COVID-19, a lot of false information has been going on. So they have come up with another act to actually control, how to actually control false information distribution. Okay, so if you are charged under this act, any blog, any post on social media will be can be actually be caught under this act. Okay, they all fall under the Internal Security Act, right? So as a conclusion to my session today, okay, MSc initiative, okay, was launched to create a geo-located multimedia utopia or a knowledge hub for innovative procedure and user of multimedia technology. So MSc was intended to transform Malaysia to a knowledge-based economy. So it was launched in 1997, and it was supposed to actually reach this what we call as community-based economy in Vision 2020. Okay, so MSc program was crucial to accelerating the objective of Vision 2020 with the adoption of knowledge-based society framework. MSc is paramount. Is a leapfrog Malaysia into the 21st century and to achieve Malaysian Vision 2020. Okay, there is a lot of question on Vision 2020 actually. Okay, one of the things that is when you think of Vision 2020 is a flying car. Okay, my students came and asked me, Doctor, why don't we have flying car now? We are already in year 2020. Okay, and then I told my student, did you see Japan having a flying car? No, right? Okay, so we are Malaysia, we are developing, so you don't expect this kind of bogus kind of idea to have flying car. So yes, there's a lot of question with Vision 2020. Okay, I think the government actually has extended this to Vision 2030. Okay, another 10 years. Okay, right. So the MSc was created to endeavor the best environment to harness the full potential of multimedia without any artificial limits. So we are all out, and Vision 2020 was the result of what we invested. Okay, all right. I think thank you. That's all from me. Maybe I'll pass to the moderator for Q&A.
Thank you, Dr. Nur Haslina. It's very interesting topic regarding the how to develop economic growth by the MSc in Malaysia.
Knowledge, yes. Manage knowledge.
Yes. Yeah. So we have some question here, but still only one. Two, three. Oh, okay. Come up. Many students drop the question in the end of the presentation. So before we start the Q&A session, actually I prepare some question for you, but let students deliver the address the question first. Uh, first, for the first session, we open three questions for Dr. Nur Haslina. The first questions coming on from Miss Tiur Wulan Mustri Palni. Maybe Miss Tiur would like to deliver the question directly.
Thank you, moderator. Good afternoon, Miss. Reliance from Defense Economy. The implementation of EMSCE, Malaysia Multimedia Super Corridor, and e-government include telemedicine, smart school, multi-purpose smart card system, how to implement MIC and e-government in undeveloped area far from development city center. Is there a problem and how to solve it? Thank you.
Okay. We take more questions, right?
Yeah. Two more questions before you answer those questions for the first session. The second question from Mr. Amin Shafiq. I think it's from UPNM, Malaysia.
This is my students.
Okay, ma'am. Assalamualaikum, ma'am, and thank you for moderator. Assalamualaikum, ma'am. My name is Muhammad Amin Shafiq bin Sharin from Strategic Study National Defence University of Malaysia, and I'm one of your students. I have a question regarding your mentioning e-governance. For example, like Malaysia, currently with the movement control order being executed, a huge number of government and private sector staff are currently working from home. So what is being done by the government to ensure the availability of remote access to network, especially students who live far from connection tower? Those that the student live, they come back from the for the university session. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amir. The third questions from Ms. Nurbaiti from Energy Security Graduate Program. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Pardon me, Dr. Nohaslina. My name is Nurbaiti. I'm from Energy Security Program. Actually, your presentation is very interesting. It is relevant with our work today because it's digital and economy. I would like to ask you some questions. Miss, my first question is how Malaysia solve internet governance dilemma, because you said that Malaysia got a problem. It is about governance dilemma, right? So how Malaysia solve that problem? My second question is there any effect from COVID-19 to MSc program? And then my last question is because of COVID-19, Malaysia got restriction, right? So what is your strategy so that MSc program could run well and achieve your vision? Thank you.
I shall answer these three questions first.
Yes.
Thank you, Baiti.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'll address the first question. Okay, this is from Tio Wulan. She was asking how do we actually implement in the rural area? Okay, this is very interesting actually. Okay, so thank you for the question, Tio. Okay, the thing with Malaysia when it comes to area that is far from a developed country, actually the gap between the rural and also the urban is not that far in Malaysia. Okay, because we are only about 34 million population. Okay, so if you're asking me, okay, let's say I give you an example using Unifi. Unifi is the I would say it's the best. It's the best internet provider in Kuala Lumpur, you have the same internet provider 150 kilometers from here in Pahang. In the village that is close to the reserve jungle, you can actually meet all the harimau, all the tapi. Okay, yes. So we do not have that much of a gap. So the gap is actually very shallow, very low. Okay. So how do we actually do this? Okay. To actually government recently, especially after the COVID-19, we actually the government actually spent billions of ringgit. This was under Malaysian budget. Okay, to enhance the infrastructure, the facilities, to make sure. Because if you are talking, for example, internet service, okay, internet provider, or everything are being fiber optic today. Okay, so with this government allocation for certain ministries involved with telecommunication, science and technology, they were actually the rural area actually enjoy the same thing that we have in urban area. Okay, but there was one issue. Okay, we wanted to upgrade our telecommunication to 5G. So in my house now, I use 5G. Okay, so this is in Kuala Lumpur. Feasible in Kuala Lumpur, whereby the fiber optic or the infrastructure is all in place. Okay, but the big question actually, me and my friend Mr. Suresh was actually talking. We wanted to do a research. Is that what will happen to those rural area that actually has only 3G connection? So when you say we are upgrading from 4G to 5G, those 2G, 3G will be gone. They will only have 4G and 5G. Yes, see? So that was the issue. That was the main issue. We are actually doing research on that. Okay, hopefully maybe in a year or two, I should be able to give you the answer. Okay, but yes, I must say first, the gap was not that far. Okay, so we are actually mending the gap. So I can watch Netflix here. My father also can watch Netflix over there because Netflix did a very strong connection to connect. But there were some issues as well. According to state, some states have very poor, not poor, I would say insufficient infrastructure, which need upgrade. But the government actually came up with the solution. Last year budget was, I can't remember the amount. I must ask my friend Suresh, he must know. Okay, there was billion ringgit spent to enhance this infrastructure. Yes, that was the solution. Okay, so did I answer your question, Theo? Or do you have more question to that?
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, all right. So I shall go to Shafiq. This is my good students. I know them by face. 64 of them.
Yes, ma'am.
Ini tak payah ditulis pun dah tahu siapa ni. Okay, all right. So Amin was asking how do we actually during especially COVID-19, how does actually e-government was affected, especially when we have most of our public servant or civil servant working from home. When you talk about e-government, right? Yes, there was an issue actually. The government first started with investing money to enhance the infrastructure. Okay, and now there is a voice coming out since we already 1 year on MCO, and so on. Okay, it's been more than 1 year. Okay, it's going to be 1 year 6 months, I think. Okay, so it's time to actually consider giving those civil servants, okay, special allowances, which means that okay, on average, a household in Malaysia, okay, we spend about 100 to 200 ringgit range for our internet service. Let's say you are using Unify, the lowest is 99 ringgit and the highest can be, I use the highest, I think, 200 ringgit. Okay, so yes, it range like that. So this is still under research, under discussion. Okay, the civil servants should be given these allowances, and also students as well. Student has been given a short one-off kind of payment, which is I think not sufficient. But the infrastructure enhancement, and second internet allowances. Okay, so this is under consideration. Okay, so not only you are thinking about it, a lot of people actually think about it. Dah setahun duduk rumah, internet bayar sendiri. Okay, sekali jalan internet kat rumah, my daughter pakai, saya pakai, siapa lagi? Semua pakai kan? So RM200 a month. Yes. And one thing, a good thing the government is doing, okay, I masih gradually kerajaan buat, is that we have this pelepasan cukai. So dalam pelepasan cukai, so let's say you are spending RM200 for your internet service every month, that can be discounted. You get pelepasan for this. Okay, so these are the three things, three solutions the government is doing. And for students, I think the university itself, okay, like UPNM, for example, I must say, recently, if I'm not wrong, correct me, RM2 million we spent to enhance your internet service. But somehow the contractor or the person who the company is doing this enhancement was asking more to upgrade the system. So the TNCA is actually, Dr. Ujai is actually working on it. That's the best answer I can give you. But those of you who are working from kampung, yes, you must wait for the fiber optic to be planted in your kampung. Then inshallah you will have good internet service. Okay. For now, we just have to bear with it. Okay. All right. The third question, okay, that's from Baiti. Baiti was asking about how Malaysia solve internet governance dilemma. So basically, the dilemma is that when you have good infrastructure in the urban area and you have lesser infrastructure in the rural area, so the dilemma is how to actually make sure you have you fit in this gap. Okay, you can see you have the best service, any public service in Kuala Lumpur, but can you get the same service in another rural area? That was the dilemma. Okay, so basically the dilemma actually being filled in, being solved by actually upgrading the infrastructure. I must say the Malaysian government actually spent a lot of money on, spent a lot of budget on actually enhancing the infrastructure actually every year. Okay, so some even to the telecommunication and also to the IT, the government have big budgets during every year budgets. Okay, all right. And your second question, is there any effect from the COVID-19 to MSc program? Actually, our MSc program is eventually, I must say, is completed, not to say completed 100%, I must say about 60-70% done. Okay, so then it is the COVID-19 did not affect us that much actually. We're already in place, we're already there. So it's a matter of actually ensuring during COVID-19, can we actually give the same service to the public? Okay, talking from this civil servant perspective, can we still provide the same service to them? Is it efficient? These are the questions that are popping up. Okay, me as a normal public, when I actually call the public, call the certain public office, I do not get any response sometimes. Yes, this is actually happening. We are actually affected. Okay, it does affect, but not on a huge scale. Okay, limited scale. And you must understand, for now we're already into our 4th week of MCO, third MCO. Means very, very limited. I haven't stepped to my office in 1 month. I've been stuck at home. Okay, so yeah, basically, I would say you have to be creative. You have to, like we are doing this. We're doing this webinar. You used to your seniors, 2-year seniors used to visit UPNM, 165 of you. Now we are talking on webinar, so we have to be creative and make use of all that we have. So it's not about what government give you. I always come back to this. It's not about the infrastructure. Yes, you must have infrastructure, but not 100% infrastructure, but also how you creatively wanted to utilize the infrastructure that you have. Okay. And your final question, because of COVID-19, Malaysia got recession. So what is your strategy to that MSc program put on well and supervision? I think we are still on track. It's just that happened to be our Vision 2020 was the millennial year was bad stroke. Okay, the millennial year was to be a pandemic year. Okay, so macam dah overshadow tau. Kita punya Vision 2020 semua orang nak tengok apa jadi, suddenly datang COVID-19 habis. Okay, we overshadow. So what the government did was to actually extend the Vision 2020. Everybody was asking me last year, kenapa tak ada kereta terbang, doktor? I said, mana nak cari kereta terbang? I said, Jepun pun tak ada lagi, so kita tak payah cerita pasal kereta terbang. Kita cerita pasal benda lain. We fight the pandemic first. So yes, so we extended the vision to 2030. So we give another 10 years to actually achieve this. Okay, so maybe we see pandemic COVID-19 as 1 year thing. I must say, I'm an international relations scholar. The world is defined by paradigms. Okay, World War I, World War II, Cold War, post-Cold War, 9/11, post 9/11, war on terrorism, and now we have COVID-19. COVID-19 is the world order. This world order will last for a couple of years, and it will be remembered because a lot of things has been affected. A lot of country has changed. A lot of things has happened. Okay, so everything that all the policy that the government made during COVID-19, okay, will actually have some. They will give the country some time to repair. 5 years, 10 years. Actually, the effect is big because if you look at the Malaysian government, okay, first MCO, the government spent billions of ringgits, okay, billions, more than 50 billions already. We spend money to assist the people who are not going to work, staying home, working from home. Kita semua dapat bantuan daripada I think I will share with you tomorrow. Okay, BPN, bantuan prihatin. Okay, so the government start giving us money every month for 3 months, 6 months, extended. A lot of things, moratorium, semua cukup. Sampai sekarang pun ada moratorium lagi, masih diberi moratorium. So the government is actually doing a lot of things for the nation. It's just that some are heavily affected, especially the daily based workers, yang bekerja sendiri, yang bisa sendiri, they are the one yang worst affected. Okay, and the government actually give banyak bantuan, loan and payment and so on for this kind of this group. So yes, yes, we spend a lot of money, and for us to recover all that money will take another 5 or 10 years. Yes, that's the plan. Okay, hope I answer your question, Maiti.
Okay, sure. Dr.
have more question?
Nohaslina, may I respond, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, you said that MSc program still run by your government, right? So, COVID-19 is, I think, in my opinion, it is gives so many bad effects for our economy. So, to make sure the MSc program run well, may I know how your government get fund? Is it from debt or your national allocation budget to support your MSc program? Because actually MSc program, it is good for my country, Indonesia. We still have internet problem. May I know how do you get the money?
Okay, this is a very TNT question actually. Okay, so the government don't actually reveal in budget where this education come from. Okay, it can come from our national allocation. It can also come from debt. One thing you have to understand about national debt. Okay, a lot of countries in this world, okay, semakin maju sesebuah negara, semakin tinggi debt. You know why? Because this is for development. So development, okay, is something that you have to ponder upon. So yes, I'm sure Malaysia has some debt, betul, but we have spent more than 50 billion or helping to help the community, the public, the people. Okay, so ini yang saya cerita 50 billion ni yang satu bahagian je, banyak lagi bahagian-bahagian lain. I'm sure it's a bigger portion. But in order to generate the economy, kita terpaksa buat ni. Yeah, but I cannot tell you for sure whether it comes from our. I'm sure ada pinjaman dan sebagainya, tapi kita tak tahu sources ni. The sources is never revealed by the government. Okay, it's not our level to actually know this also. Maybe you can ask tomorrow kita ada on economic session kan, Dr. Hafiza. Yes, she will be the right person for you to ask. Okay, alright. But that's what I say. So walaupun jangan risau kalau orang cakap, okay, Malaysia dulu ada isu ni. Suddenly the public was so himok, kata, oh, kita punya debt dah tinggi ni. Saya cakap, debt apa? Dia cakap, no debt, saya kata. Jangan nak kira debt bank tu jangan kira. Okay, kita just kira external, luar, foreign debt. Itu saja yang kira. Lain semua tak kira. Sebab itu for development. So let's say the government are sending students to study PhD masters overseas, spending 500,000 for one person. Can you imagine kalau dihantar 100-200 orang satu tahun? So it's investment. So investment to actually come back and serve. So like me, when I went to Australia for 5 years, I have to come back and serve UPNM for the KPT for 7 years. Yes, we have this kind of agreement. So tak boleh lari. Balik kena serve, but pay the bill, and then you are free of the debt. So this kind of circulation, I must say. Alright, Maggie. So you can actually question for Dr. Hafiza tomorrow.
Yeah, for the second session, we have another 3 questions.
Is it here?
Wait a second. First question from Mr. Herdayat Tama from Defense Management. Please go ahead, Mas Herda.
Alright, good afternoon, moderator and speaker. My name is Herda from Defense Management Study Program. I want to ask a question. From the speaker presentation, I understand that in the knowledge economy, or KKI, information and knowledge are the key factor. We all know the information and knowledge is to explain how phenomenon has occurred and moreover to predict future phenomenon. If you relate to our previous session, we discussed about AI, right? And that can be used, this AI can be used to analyze data. My question is, how does Malaysia's government or military use information and knowledge or the big data to achieve national interest in security and prosperity? Thank you.
Thank you, Mas Herda. The second question from Sunra from Defense Economy.
Thank you very much, moderator. Dr. Nurhalsna, I have 2 questions about Malaysia Multimedia Corridor. Malaysia government guaranteed an internet free of regulatory interference. What does this mean? How do government control of internet using? The next is, could you explain more about knowledge economy is also possible without technology? Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sundra. And then the third question from Ms. Ike Yesi Widowati. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Ike Yesi Widowati from Student Defense Management Program. My question is, has the use of artificial researchers be maximized for the sake of defense? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nur Haslina, you have advanced question here relate the MSc with the defense.
Okay, all right. I'll try my very best at my very level knowledge to answer. Okay, but somehow I have to pass it to some of my colleagues, I guess. Okay, all right. So first question from Hada. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then Tama. Okay, how do Malaysia government or military use information and knowledge big data to achieve national interest and security and prosperity? So basically, this is a question that should be posed to the IT department of MINDAT. Okay, that should be able to actually give you the answer. So I must also remind you. Okay, UPNM is actually under the JPA, Jabatan Perkhidmatan Awam. Okay, and we train our undergraduate cadets, which is Air Force, Navy, and also Army, okay, to serve the Minda. So under scholarships, okay. So we are almost like a think tank actually. Kita ni macam think tank UPNM. So macam Unhan lain, Unhan dia 100% bawa Minda Indonesia kan, kita tak.
Yeah.
So most of the information, kalau macam di Unhan tu, I'm sure lecturers are actually accessible to this kind of information. But for us, what I can actually tell, okay, achieving national interest and also using information is important. Just like one example I can give you, okay, in our military is very professional. I think Prof. Rahnas has said from the first day, our military very professional. So they do not, they are directly under the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, which is our king, okay, all right, which is now currently Sultan Pahang, my state, okay. So they do not, they don't actually get involved in any of this politics. So when you talk about national interest, we are talking about politics side of it, okay, the executive power, okay. So we are talking about this the sole power of the king, and under the king there is Tentera Diraja Malaysia ATM. Okay, so ATM, how I can see the how they actually use information and knowledge. Okay, we have what we call as Puspahanas in Malaysia. Puspahanas is a college. We have 3-level college. Maktab Terus Angkatan Tentera, Maktab Pertahanan Angkatan Tentera, dan kita ada Maktab National Resident College yang paling tinggi. So the 3 different level. Satu level major, lieutenant colonel, major, lieutenant colonel, brigadier. Okay, so this college has been under the UPNM, and especially under the Department of Strategic Studies. Okay, kita yang handle ni, kita yang ajar. All the manpower come from us. So basically UPNM Strategic Studies School or Management School are actually bukan strategic saja, yang lain pun ada, management semua ada. So yes, we are actually in form of think tank, disseminating ideas, bridging off those tactical skill and also academic. So how our military become professional kat sini, leading to the prosperity tadi. The tentera tu sendiri sangat knowledgeable. The military is very knowledgeable. They were sent for training. We upgrade them. Malaysia punya tentera very small compared to Indonesia. Indonesia lagi besar. I visited Bandung. I visited PT Pindad. KL sini, Komodo, ada gambar sekali. Okay. So yes, your level is because you're a bigger country, your defense need bigger, your military involved in more vast areas. But in Malaysia tak ada. Malaysia basically they are direct under the direct order of the king. Okay, they're very professional. They are not involved in corruption pun tak ada sangat. Politics langsung tak ada. Okay, so if you ask me this question, okay, how they use the big data. No, actually, the big data belongs to the civil government. They have it. The military doesn't have it. The military basically is on the enforcement, the implementation side. This is how role tu tak sama tau. Memang askar, memang military tapi tak sama role dia. So I hope that will give you some insight from Malaysia perspective. Dada, is that okay, or you have more questions?
Okay, thank you for the information.
Okay, all right. So to the second question that was from Sundra. Okay, so Sundra was asking, Malaysia Super Corridor, internet free regulatory interference, how do government control internet using? Okay, in Malaysia, for example, yes, there is a control, tapi it's not, sometimes kita sedar pun ada control. Okay, we can actually access to most of internet using. Actually, we don't see any control. Okay, tak ada pun sebenarnya. Okay, it's just that sometimes if it's licensed, is a payable website, yes, mungkin ada control sikit. Tapi other than that, I don't see any control. Belum lagi lah, tak boleh masuk anywhere, social media dan sebagainya. Okay, how do we control? Yes, this is the last. Tadi saya sebutkan all this act. In Malaysia punya MSC punya ni 1997 and then the last was 2012, and the recently last year was 2019 or 2020. We had this akta untuk curb all this wrong information. Basically, you can use the internet, but if you actually spread the wrong information, you will be charged. So this is how we control. Okay, so basically during pandemic time, we came up with this kind of act. Is because people are staying home, okay, looking at the television all the time. Okay, the television is the only source of information that you have. Okay, so if people disseminate wrong information on your handphone, blog, social media, Facebook, Instagram, and so on, that will create chaos. So Malaysia has been long time since Tuan Mahathir in 1980s. He always speak about national resilience, domestic resilience especially. So this is the reason why we focus more on economic development, even knowledge-based economic and so on, because we wanted to be strong within. For us, yes, we have external threat, but if we are internally resilient, kuat secara dalaman, luaran kita lebih mudah untuk dikawal. Macam badan lah, it's like our body. If your immune system is strong, okay, no virus will come close to you, right? Yes, this is how we see it. Ini Malaysia punya prinsip tak sebenarnya. Domestic resilience. We wanted to make sure there is no chaos, there is no racial riot. No, we do not want all this. So we will do anything to actually control our domestic condition first. Domestic kena cantik, baru luar akan cantik. So coming back to how do we control the internet using? Yes, we have this kind of act. All right, we use this kind of act to actually control. Okay, this is the only measure we have. And your second question, could you explain more about knowledge economy is also possible without technology? Yes, but the thing is, with the 21st century, everybody is actually utilizing AI in knowledge-based economy. Okay, you cannot deny this. Okay, so yeah, certain type of knowledge, okay, can actually survive without technology. Especially handcraft. Even handcraft also you need marketing. Marketing is about AI. Okay. Okay, let's say you Google cari. I think T.S. Suresh pun cakap benda sama. You Google. You nak cari apa? Nak cari laptop. Macam mana you nak pastikan yang you punya bila orang search laptop tu you punya company ataupun you punya sales tu akan datang dulu. Pop up the first. Kan? Alright, and you are talking about COVID-19. COVID-19 means you have to be creative. Everybody is using the internet today. Semua, even yang jual kerupuk, jual ikan bilis pun guna internet. Yes, because you need technology to actually promote your item, to market your item. So it's very, very important. Yes, maybe before this kita boleh lagi consider masa mula-mula MNC tu tak ada COVID, tak ada pandemic kan, kita boleh consider lagi. Tanpa teknologi, tapi today I have one question to you. All of you, can you live without your handphone for one day? Tak ada handphone boleh hidup tak satu hari?
Tidak.
Boleh kan? Tidak. Confirm. There are some contests give you 1 million ringgit tau. If you live without your phone for 30 days. Sanggup? Tak kan? Okay, this is how important is technology. Okay, all right. So coming to the next question, I think. For the next question. Widowati,
Yes, Widowati, yes.
Okay, she has the use of artificial resources been maximized for the sake of defense? Okay, I must also say again. All right. Yes, for us, Malaysia ni sebenarnya banyak resources. Okay, resources kita tak kira lah energy ke water ke, kita memang banyak resources. It's just that the only concern here in Malaysia is that how to sustainability, SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. Itu yang paling penting sekarang. We just want to make sure, like what Mr. Suresh was saying kan, apa yang kita ada hari ini bukan kita punya, tetapi adalah anak cucu kita punya. So how to actually sustain that for the next generation. That's what the most important thing for us. So if you're asking how do we sustain artificial resources, yes, part of it, like what I was explaining to you, the civil servant based knowledge, okay? It can be civil servant, it can be military personnel, yes. How we enhance them to become a professional, knowledge-based economic human capital. Yes, that's what we do. Our investment is mostly on human capital. So, our officers, okay, our military officers, not only pergi Malaysian Staff College dekat Puspahanas tu, tak. Kita, if you look at sama macam pun hala, military personnel kan, dia punya college tu banyak kan, macam college, sama lah. This is how we invest to make them professional. The only difference is that they are not involved in the executive power implementation or enforcement, not at all, okay. That's the difference. So basically, we don't utilize artificial resources ni tak ada for the defense purpose. No, actually, so far no. Yang kita ada satu je that I can think of is kelapa sawit. Yes, kita ada proses gunakan kelapa sawit ni untuk become energy. Ini lebih kepada energy. So tomorrow, Dr. Rosita, siapa lagi yang energy itu? Yes, you can actually ask them, how do we actually balance economy and energy? Okay, alright, itu ada. Okay, but for defense, tak ada. And your question is quite huge. Kalau you bagi saya spesifik area, saya mungkin boleh bagi you more example. Okay, alright.
Thank you.
Is that
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Okay, thank you. No worries. Hope I answer your questions.
Okay, very interesting discussion. We have another 3 questions here. We open third session. First question from Nuri Salena Ramadhani from Defense Management Program. Maybe Nuri Salena would like to open the screen. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you, Dr. Nurhalisna, for the presentation. That's a lot of information. My name is Nuri Salena. I will straight to the question. How does the government build awareness of its citizens on the importance of artificial resources to improve national defense? Thank you.
Okay, very short question. And second question from Ms. Nyimas Aljaina Zahra from Energy Security Program. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Good afternoon, Dr. Nur Hazlina. My name is Nyimas Aljaina Zahra, student of Energy Security. If I'm not mistaken, the Multimedia Super Corridor, or MSC, in Malaysia is to transform the nation into a knowledge-based economy. Is there any contribution from UPNM, lecturers or students to the success of MSc, and in what form? That is all. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. A very interesting question. I also want to ask about that question actually. The third question from Ms. Asti Siswanti from Defense Economic Program. Please go ahead, Ms. Asti.
Okay, thank you, moderator. Good afternoon, Dr. Nur Hazlina. I am Asti from Economic Defense Department. I have 3 questions for you. The first, how does the Malaysian government deal with cyber crime? And then the second, what punishment is given if the perpetrator is from another country? And the last 3, is the law based on the laws of Malaysia or based on the laws of other countries? Thank you.
Okay, I shall answer these 3 first, right?
Yes. So, I hope you still have enough time.
That's fine. Okay, all right. So soalan from Ramadhani. Okay, she asked, how does the government build awareness of the citizen on the importance of artificial resources to improve national defense? So in Malaysia, actually, I must say we have not explored too much on artificial resources, but the focus is more on the artificial intelligence, which is under the Ministry of Technology. Okay, but there is no interconnection ataupun tak ada interdisiplin lagi between how to, even in our in the UPNM itself, we do not have really a subject on artificial resources management. Tak ada, kita tak ada. Sebab I believe when you talk about artificial resources management, is a marriage of technology and also resources. So it comes from two different niche areas. Okay. So to answer your question, how do we actually create awareness among our citizens? Is that first thing first, okay? We have to make sure everybody has internet access. Itu yang penting. Itu yang penting. So kalau ada internet access, and then baru kita boleh create awareness. But because everything today is through the internet, through the infrastructure, computer, gadgets. Okay. So what is the government is doing today? Okay. I'll give you an example of COVID-19 sekarang, masa pandemic. So first thing first, how to we create awareness is to actually to make sure our schools and our teachers and also even public biasa to make sure they have gadgets. Yes, we have this campaign by the government. Private companies actually going out giving tablets, phones to this unfortunate portion of the community to enjoy the gadget first. Because if you are talking about awareness, okay, if you are talking about to create awareness for contohnya macam mana kita nak fight this COVID-19 pun sebenarnya you need that gadget first. So what the government does is that it's a cycle. So the government kata company yang support government in materializing this to create this community, knowledge-based community ni will be given tax reduction. So semua company ni turun bagi bantuan. Sama juga masih kita perlukan PPE, masih kita perlukan mask, semua private company turun. So the government has agreement with this interest group to actually help us. And another things that the government does is that in Malaysia during COVID-19 kita ada satu channel RTM1 tu pagi sampai malam memang kita akan cerita pasal lebih kepada psychological operation. Dia akan cerita pasal COVID-19 saja. You open that channel, channel ni satu Malaysia boleh access. Okay, we have transformed to digital television. Maksudnya kita dah tak ada pakai area-area, kita semua pakai the small box, kita pakai box, Android box. So first thing the government buat to make sure all the community in Malaysia pakai box, transform. And we are very lucky, we managed to do this right before COVID datang. Sebelum COVID datang, satu Malaysia kita dah pakai digital box untuk television. So everybody have access to the basic 10, 15 channel. Okay, so the government take up this channel to actually create awareness among the community. But if you're asking me on artificial resources itself, we haven't explored much on this actually. Sebenarnya we are more concerned of recycling, more on sustainable development, of how to sustainably manage our resources. Yes, but to create artificial, no, belum lagi. Sebab artificial, I think more of a level of lebih kepada to create a system to manage HRM. Yes, we have that kind of thing, but not to really involve the people below. We haven't gone to that stage yet. Okay. Hope I answer your question, Ramadhani, or you have more questions?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ramadhani. And then next question is Nimas. Okay, UPNM. You know how old is UPNM? UPNM is established in 2006, my dear. Yes, we are very young university and boutique university. Okay, all right. So I understand maybe tak tahu, Okay, tak apa. So UPNM, how do we contribute to the knowledge-based economy? Yes, especially kita punya when it comes to ni lah, defense technology. Defense technology, UPNM banyak dapat given grant, especially prototype grants. Prototype grants maksudnya idea tu kita dah ada idea model. Okay, 2 tahun you dah siap model dekat lab. Okay, nak jadikan dia prototype, government ada prototype grant. Prototype grant maksudnya okay, dia keluar as a weapon, dia keluar as a teknologi apa. Itu kita buat face shield apa semua. So this is how actually UPNM punya contribution. So in Malaysia is that for the government to really dia akan bagi you grant, betul, dia akan bagi you untuk research sebagainya, for them to actually adapt that to become a part of untuk guna untuk defense. Sebab as I think that Prof. Reliance was saying, Prof. Reliance is our godmother in the department. As Prof. Reliance cakap, Malaysia punya defense country ni, kita tak ada perang. Apa yang penting pada kita adalah internal resilience. So kita fokus lebih kepada tu. Yes, kita ada. The grant was given to UPNM. UPNM banyak dapat grant. Banyak dapat grant on defense technology. So kita buat prototype. Selalunya kalau cakap prototype punya grant tu memang hak milik orang defense technology lah. Kita social science ni selalunya kita buat model, kita buat policy, kita buat framework. Yes, itu kita punya contribution. Okay, so different department in UPNM has a different role lah. Medical, on the other hand, ni lah masa pandemic ni, COVID-19, they have, especially macam under our grant tu kan, discipline grant tu, yes, betul. The help tu, bila saya minta grant tu, KPT cakap, panggil orang help. Kami perlukan orang help dalam grant ni. Yes, they are very important, especially from the UPNM punya doctors lah. So how do we contribute back to the community is that our doctors that we created in UPNM serve balik dekat government hospital, serve balik dekat military hospital. Kita kat Malaysia ada banyak military hospital lah. So they serve back. So this is how the contribution from UPNM lecturers. So UPNM is very young. Okay, kita baru berumur sekejap 13 tahun. Okay, alright. Before that it was ATMA, Akademi Angkatan Tentera. Okay, so yes, as a university kita guna West Point punya model. So we start from academy, tapi beza kita is that orang lain semua student master kan, kita student undergraduate. So strategi yang kita belajar kat master level tu kita ajar kat undergraduate level. So kalau jumpa saya punya undergraduate student strategi kat mana-mana tu, semua knowledge strategi sangat-sangat tinggi diorang. Okay, alright. So this is our contribution. So usually it's a prototype. So coming back to knowledge-based economy, it's the government punya ni lah, bawah grant, my grant tadi, KPT tadi dia bagi grant, prototype grant, kita buat model, product, defense model, kita bagi balik kepada ATM. Yes, this is how it works. Okay, did I answer your question? Dimas?
Yeah,
Dimas?
yeah, great. Thank you.
Alright, thank you. Okay, so
Next,
Asti.
Asti Siswanti. Yes.
Does the Malaysian government deal with cybercrime? Yes, it's interesting. Okay, what punishment is given in the perpetrators from another country? Is the law based on the law of Malaysia or based on law of other countries? Okay, I think for any kind of crimes committed in Malaysia by another another citizen, we need to find the neutral grounds. Kita kena carilah tapi yang neutral tu. Okay, it cannot be judged. You can actually. There is a lot of case it be judged at the original country ataupun the country they committed the crime. Tapi akan ada banyak campur tangan. So we need to find ini actually international law. Dia akan pergi kepada satu neutral ground tu. Neutral ground tu akan judge sebab dia akan lebih fair. Sebab everybody is neutral lah. Okay. So okay, cybercrime. Yes, we have a cybercrime law. Memang ada. Okay. So how do we deal with that? Kat Malaysia ni actually kita ada banyak cybercrime institution. Even in UPNM we have Cyber Research Center. Okay, so even when I was doing my grant on urban disaster management in Kuala Lumpur, they asked me, doctor, what happened kalau tiba-tiba dapat cyber threat, cyber attack? kat Kuala Lumpur, kita nak buat apa? This question was pop up to me when I was presenting kat Mohik, dekat Ministry of Higher Education. Dia tanya soalan ni. So saya kata, what can I do? I say, we are looking at agencies to respond to disaster. Kalau nak cerita pasal cyber, saya kena buat satu lagi grant. Then you have to give me another portion of me to actually study. So when you talk about cybercrime is sebenarnya one area to itself. So we cannot, tak boleh nak actually mix dia dengan crime lain pun sebenarnya sebab dia cyber. Cyber means how strong is your cyber law? Okay, how much has you implement? So in Malaysia, I think it's very much in implementation level. Sebab kalau if you see the akta akta yang cover those wrong information dissemination, maklumat palsu ni, okay, itu adalah salah satu contoh cybercrime actually. Cyber lah, the information was disseminated using Facebook, using Instagram, using apa lagi? semua social media tu. Yeah. So it is actually from a Malaysian government perspective, memang kita use this laws, okay, especially akta false information ni, okay, to control. So in Malaysia kalau dekat it can be charged, boleh di-charge sampai ke, it's always on the national TV. Recently was a teacher, cikgu, was a 40 plus years old. He was disseminating some information about this COVID-19 vaccine. Dia kata AstraZeneca tu something lah, he manipulates sebab there was an issue. You kena tahu dah sebenarnya semua ni politik. A lot of politics is going on. Okay, AstraZeneca come from UK. Okay, UK is one of the best, antara yang terbaik juga yang buat vaksin. Okay, Pfizer bukan tak bagus. Pfizer is the best. Memang bagus. Orang percaya kat Pfizer sebab Pfizer tu yang buat, yang asal usul buat vaksin Pfizer ni orang Turki, orang Islam. So we have more confident on orang Islam. Kat Malaysia dengan Islam sama je dengan Indonesia. Okay. So bila AstraZeneca ni, Britain kan keluar daripada ni kan, EU. Okay, dia marah. Ni sabotage. So they sabotage and then they say AstraZeneca macam ni ada blood clotting. Sebenarnya semua Pfizer blood clotting, Sinopharm semua blood clotting actually. Semua blood clotting. Semua ada. It's just that your body system macam mana. You punya darah tu memang pekat ke cair ke, it's up to you. So in Malaysia, people start spreading this news. Causing people, kita ada dekat 10,000 orang yang dah register untuk vaccination tak pergi vaksin because of this. This is the impact. So what the government did was that to educate balik the community, okay, they used UPNM actually involved, especially our corporate, our bagian corporate terlibat in webinar and talk with the community, reaching the community level, rural area ni. We did our role to actually go to get to this rural area people to actually tell them AstraZeneca, to educate them. AstraZeneca ni sebenarnya lagi bagus daripada Pfizer. Okay, because it has a multi-variant bacterial. Pfizer, tengok tadi saya masuk sains pula. Pfizer tu dia single. Okay, single means boleh lawan the first variant. Variant baru tak, kurang kan tak boleh kurang. So yes, we have to educate. So this teacher was one of the example. Kat Malaysia ni kalau tak kena tangkap macam tu, kan, normal I think in any country, if you don't actually show in the television, this person was charged, kena denda, kena charge at court dan baru korang sedar that actually you should not be actually sending this kind of information. So I would say that rather than a cyber, it would be like a more like an information kind of misinformation kind of crime. Salah guna informasi. Yes. Okay. I will answer your question.
Dr. Haslina, I think we are in the I think we are in the end of the afternoon session. Actually, regarding the discussion about the cyber security, I do remember that was Malaysian Airlines data breach. 46 millions of data leaks in Malaysia, and since I have one of the mileage of the Malaysian Airlines, I got some spam on that at the time. after
was this
the database. Yeah.
When was this?
Excuse me?
Which year was this? It was very recent.
No, actually, around 2017, I think.
Oh.
But it was several years ago. But anyway, thanks a lot for your presentation today. I would like to conclude your presentation that Dr. Haslina Virus Musakuti has explained about the artificial resources management, knowledge-based administration, and economic in Malaysia. And she also addressed what is the artificial resources and how it's affect the knowledge-based human resources management in Malaysia. And now we have come up the end of this meeting. Once again, I would like to give big appreciate to the speaker, Dr. Haslina Virus Musakuti, for the great sharing. Please, everyone, give big applause to her. Thank you very much. And as I open with the pantun, I will also close with the pantun. Let me start my pantun here. Rabu petang ke kini balu, pemandangan segar teramat indah. Maafkan salah kata dan laku, mari kita tutup dengan Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thank you very much for all participants for the attention. Have a good day, everyone. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, moderator, for guiding this session. And thank you very much for our speaker today for your very interesting topic today. So as a token of our appreciation for their time and valuable contribution for our speaker and our moderator, I would like to invite the Vice Dean of Defense Management Faculty of Republik Indonesia Defense University, Air Force Marshal Anton Iman Santosa, to kindly present the certificate to Dr. Nur Haslina Virus Musakuti and Mr. Nugroho Adi Sasongko.
Okay. Thank you very much to the speaker, Dr. Nur Haslina Virus Musakuti, for your wonderful presentations and also your explanations during Q&A sessions. Again, thank you very much. And also thank you very much to the moderator, Dr. Nugroho, for moderating this session. On behalf of the Faculty of Defense Management, Defense University of the Republic of Indonesia, I will award the appreciation of certificate to the speaker and moderator. First, certificate to the speaker, Dr. Nur Haslina Virus Musakuti. Thank you. Please accept our certificate and give applause to Dr. Nur Haslina. The second certificate is awarded to the moderator, Dr. Nugroho Adi Sasongko. Please accept our certificate, Pak Nugroho, and give applause to the moderator, Pak Nugroho. Again, thank you very much to the speaker, moderator, and all participants, both of the Defense University of Indonesia and also the National Defense University of Malaysia. And that's all for the session. Thank you. Have a nice day and see you tomorrow for the next sessions. Thank you.
Yes, sir. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Before closing this our second session, please allow us to have a photo session for today's documentation. For all of the participants, please turn on your camera. And all of the participants, please face the camera with salam bela negara gesture. On the count of 3, 1, 2, and 3. Once more. 1, 2, and 3. Salam bela negara.
Okay, salam bela negara.
Once
Thank you.
again, we would like to thank all of the speakers who have given the knowledge and experience to all of us. May all of the knowledge we gain could be useful for all. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to an end of our today agenda, which probably means please forgive us for our shortcomings. We would like to say thank you for the entire contributor for this event. On behalf of the Republic Indonesia Defense University Overseas Study Committee, we would like to extend my sincere apologies if there's something unpleasant. We also would like to remind all of us that tomorrow agenda on 24th of June 2021 will begin at 9 o'clock Indonesian time, and all of the participants must join the Zoom room 15 minutes before the session begins. Don't forget, always maintain health protocols by implementing this standard. Wash your hands, wear your mask, and keep your distances. Till we meet again, may all of you have a good health. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om.
Waalaikumsalam
Namo
warahmatullahi
Buddhaya.
wabarakatuh.
Salam bela negara.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. See you
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Rifa, I will
See you tomorrow.
reply the email, Rifa.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. There's a lot of questions that I already saw. Thank you for the questions. I will reply to you, Ms. Rifa. Allow me 1 or 2 days.
1 or 2 days, lama je, Suresh.
Thank you very
Banyak
much, sir.
gila
I
kerja
will
lah.
my
Ini pun
email.
tengah ada meeting audit. There's another meeting going on as well. This is bad about working from home. 3 meeting together.
Baik kau, kita sekali. Tadi, thank you so much, Tadi. Shall I answer the rest of the question later, Tadi, yang tak sempat jawab ni?
Yeah, we can. Oh, I think we have some
Few
question
kan?
left.
Yeah.
From your student form.
Then
you have
always
to answer your student, but you can answer directly.
Okay, alright. Okay, thank you, Tadi, for the great pantun. I'll definitely balas your pantun next time.
Wait, we have to find the pantun and balas lah. He also gave me 2 pantun. I cannot balas, man. Thank you, Dr. Adi.
Thank you very much, Suresh and Dr. Haslina. Have a good health.
Yes,
I'm from the University National Defense. Thank you very much for inviting us for this session. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, guys.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice
Bye.
day, guys.
Hope to meet you again.
Take care of yourself.
Amin. What a waste. All right, thank you, then. Tin, bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you.
Bye, Dr. Adi.
The recording has stopped.
Mbak Tin, kau kirim ya ini. Lu kirim ya. Kirim aja dulu daripada hilang. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Siap.